4 months ago, interest payable.
We would like to understand really what the role of Treasury is vis-a-vis CBK and an issue like the depreciation of the shilling. Why I ask this is because when we listen to you, you are explaining a lot of factors except what your role was in terms of overseeing that this economy does not go the way it did and that we did not have that crisis created because especially when the country knew that because of the depreciation of the shilling, there were those in the market that took advantage and overnight made millions. I don't want to say billions, but I hear in some cases it was billions. But I'm saying millions of shillings, taking advantage of a crisis within the country. Eventually, even what the CBK then did, which is to increase its lending rates, has affected, just as the chairman has said, interest rates in banks, which now is affecting the common mwananchi. So my question is really, what is the role of Treasury?
You will have to cough close to 140 billion as interest on those Treasury bills and bonds. And this is something that we'll have avoided if indeed certain individuals, including yourselves on the Treasury, did not sleep on the job. In particular, those months of November, October, November. And I want us to somehow own up. Our bank, our CBK, was voted as one of the worst performing banks in Africa. Worse than even banks, central banks of failed states, or semi-failed states. And you know them. It's not our making, it's not our benchmark, you know it, it's all over. And this is the parent ministry. So what we are saying is, yes, those factors stand out, as you have mentioned. But there's nothing to demonstrate that those causes, those short-term causes have changed. Locally, externally, they remain the same. If anything, some of them have exacerbated, some of them have been worsened. So we want you to share with us, and you know, Parliament, I do not want to quote the relevant sections of the current constitution which Kenyans have voted for. We are entitled to every bit. And maybe even to go further, we want you to share with us, whether as a ministry, as a parent ministry, as a key ministry, whether you are really concerned what was happening, because you are the watchdog of the Kenyan taxpayers, you are the custodians of the Kenyan treasuries, the Kenyan National Resource Park is within your domain, in your hands, on behalf of the 40 million Kenyans. Whether that really caused some concerns within your circles, and you wrote, or maybe you were forced to communicate the same to the relevant institutions. If you have, indeed, we will want to get copies of the same document, whether it's from the minister or from the PS or from the man in charge of the economy, so that we really zero on what caused. Was it man-made? Were there connivances between some of the institutions that are tasked with this, with other players that necessitated this to the extent that today everybody, including yourselves, because I believe the majority of Kenyans, including the minister here, have loans that all of us today are suffering. The one of 1991 was attributable to one event, and you all know it. But what can we attribute to this?
I think, honorable members, you will recall that as Treasury, I think it's in April, we first of all reduced the price of oil by taking out a tax out of it. We went to the East African community. We got a concurrence to import maize duty-free. So we were concerned about these matters very early, and we started taking measures that, on the part of fiscal policy, could actually help to alleviate the situation. So it's not like we were sitting down. We actually did a lot, and I think everybody is aware of that, because we came to Parliament actually to report some of these measures that we did.
The central bank governor is normally appointed by the president on your recommendation. I want to know if, as the supervisor of central government, of central bank, you are happy with the performance of the central governor so far.
the evaluation which has been done by other people says that there's some underperformance. But we as a government, as yet, we have not done that evaluation ourselves. So we cannot conclusively say that as a head, he is the cause of the problems which happened in the bank, because bank is an institution. It's a big institution.
Which means, since you come at evaluation, you cannot say he is the cause or he is not the cause.
Yes, we cannot say he's the cause or not.
So in other words, you are non-committal on the question that you can neither say no or yes. That is the input.
If you don't have any negative report, can you say he's not performing?
Okay, Mheshimiwa, we're going to continue.
When did Treasury sense that there was a problem? I appreciate the firefighting that you did at the tail end, but when did you realize that there was a problem?
We were monitoring that and actually taking, having consultation with the central bank. And they also took other actions that, for example, the window you talked about, it was closed very early in the process. I don't recall exactly when, but I think, I'm sure central bank would have discussed this, but I think by May or so, there was nothing like that. There were no banks going to that window the way it was happening early in the year. It was under very strict terms. For example, a bank could not go there day after day. They could not do that. So they were already taking measures like that, but I don't have all the details because that's, again, an operational matter of the central bank.